Okay, in this short little video, I wanted to talk about something that I just noticed that seems a little unusual. In all of the Radicon robots that I have repaired and owned, and most of the ones I think I watched like on YouTube, the green light in the chest, which would be this one right here inside the chest box on it, that only lights when it's received a signal from the transmitter and the sequence motor is running. And when the sequence motor is done running, in other words, just drop the hammer back on the courier tube and open the circuit, then the light goes out. But if you follow the schematic, you'll see that one side of the bulb is tied to ground. At all times, ground is connected to the batteries, well, through the switch. And then the other side of the bulb, they have going right to the plus 3 volts. So this light would be on all the time. Now, I did see one very old video on YouTube put up by Ozzie, I don't know, 12 years ago, maybe longer. And in the Radicon he had, this light was on all the time. Now, that's the way this schematic shows it. So I don't know if his had been repaired and somebody followed this schematic when they wired things up, and that the error was made on this schematic. So when his got repaired, somebody put it in that way. But in all of the working properly Radicons I've seen, this green light, which is normally green, only comes on, like I said, when the sequence motor is running, when it's just received a signal. So this wire theoretically should actually not be tied to V+, but should be tied to this line here, because this is the switch inside the meter relay. But what's bizarre about that is this Radicon that you're watching the videos of me tear apart, the one that's distressed, its light is wired like this in the schematic. Its light in its chest would be on all the time. And what was also odd was the light in the chest, normally they dip them. Most of the ones I've seen have been green, but I suppose they could have dipped it red, whatever they had laying around, I don't know. But the point was that the paint, the dip, the translucent paint on that bulb was pretty much burned off, which means the bulb's been on a lot and it's gotten hot. You almost never see that because this bulb is only on for a second or two while it's receiving a signal. And I don't believe the Radicon, the distressed one that I'm working on, has ever been opened before. So that would mean it would be a factory wiring job like this, where that bulb is just simply on all the time. Very strange. So did the factory build them both ways? Maybe the earliest ones, they had the bulb on all the time, and then somebody at the factory realized, well, that isn't what we wanted, and then they rerouted this one wire from the light, instead of going to 3 volts all the time, goes to the switched 3 volts. Very odd. More on how this works if you want. This is the courier tube down here. You notice they've got the ground. So one side of the tube is tied to ground. The other side of the tube goes right up to the antenna. And this coil is to stop the high frequencies that come down from the antenna being shorted out. They won't go through the coil, so it acts as a high impedance signal, but the coil can pass the DC. So when this tube starts conducting, once it's seen RF and all of a sudden it becomes like a switch, a short circuit, that provides the ground signal to the coil in the meter relay, if you will. The other side of the meter relay runs on just 1.5 volts, just one of the batteries. There's 3 batteries in the Radicon. 2 of them provide 3 volts to run everything else in the robot, and one of them provides just 1.5 volts for no other purpose other than the meter relay. Okay, I'm going to move the camera, I think. Well, hang on. Maybe I could just grab this. Hang on. So here we have, this is the V+, which comes up to the one side of the switch. These 2 are the switches in it, and these 2 are the meter relays. And here's the green light from the backside. Well, I keep calling it that, but it could have been any color. But you'll notice they bring it down to here, and then right there's a bridge. There's a wire bridge between the 2. So that bulb is getting plus 3 volts all the time, And this ground wire from the switch right here puts ground to the frame. So in this particular instance, this robot, that light, which kind of looks like it might have been red at one point, would have been on all the time. And like I say, it didn't look like this one had ever been opened before by anybody. It looked like a factory job. But I don't know. Could be a mystery. Did they make them both ways? Did the earliest ones have that lamp on all the time until someone who designed the toy said, no, I really wanted that to be switched on and off, which means this wire, instead of going to here, actually should have gone over to here. Well, we may never know, but I thought I'd just share that with you.